The Donald Trump comments from Rick MacArthur, who's an author and also director of Harper's magazine. Thanks very much to you for joining us. All of this has ensured a lot of headlines for Donald Trump, hasn't it? But fundamentally, this whole thing seems to be a bit of a nonsense, isn't it? A proposal to ban Muslims from entering the country, a lot of people are saying, would simply be unconstitutional.
Well, I wish somebody had asked him, does that include the Saudi oil minister? Because I can't take Trump seriously. I mean, I think he's a serious salesman. He's a brilliant salesman and self-promoter. He's not a serious political candidate. There's some kind of breakdown going on in the American media where journalists feel themselves obliged to take every word he says seriously, or at least to amplify it. Certainly, Trump knows enough. He's not stupid. He knows enough to know that Americans feel harassed and threatened, and not just in San Bernardino, but by cheap immigrant labor. There's widespread unemployment that's unreported in the country. So poor white people who feel up against it rally to Trump because he says a lot of the things that they think secretly, that they're afraid to say out loud. But in terms of actual policy, it's absurd, and it doesn't get to the heart of the problem, which is a foreign policy problem, the alliance between the United States and Saudi Arabia, and Bush and Blair's crazy, stupid, self-defeating intervention and invasion of Iraq. We still have this tendency in America to look at the immediate issue, the immediate flashpoint, and not look much further, because there are roots to this in American foreign policy. I'm not saying that people in San Bernardino shot up that place because of our relations with Saudi Arabia, but we have a bigger problem in the Arab world, which is not being addressed.
Well, polls do certainly indicate that Donald Trump has got a large, receptive audience to this kind of comment. Security clearly is a concern, and shouldn't lawmakers perhaps be paying them a little bit more attention at these concerns about who's in the United States and what kind of attacks they may or may not be planning?
Absolutely. People should be concerned, and they should be watchful, and they should be concerned about border security, like people are now becoming concerned about border security in France for the first time. This idea that you can run a world based on economic principles, liberal economic principles, where there's no borders, there's free trade everywhere, there's no controls on money, on the movement of money. It carries over into this notion that people should be allowed to go freely from one country to another and sell their labor. You can't do that. It's just not practical. And it throws a lot of people out of work. So remember that Trump started his campaign. He first got attention by saying he would build a wall between the United States and Mexico to prevent Mexican illegals from coming into the country and working illegally for $3, $4, $5 an hour. It had tremendous resonance with the white working class, which feels, as I said earlier, harassed and up against it. So these are real issues for real people. It's just that a demagogue or a salesman like Trump misuses them and doesn't address the real problem, which is that American employers love exploiting cheap, illegal Mexican labor. They're happy to have it come in because it undercuts citizens who would have to work for a minimum wage.
Indeed, some food for thought perhaps for other candidates hoping to put themselves forward as the next president of the United States as that primary race gets started very soon. Thanks very much for giving us your thoughts. Rick MacArthur, director of Harper's magazine, speaking to us there.